Serving over there, and we became fast friends and have been ever since. And so this is another opportunity to be up in your part of the world and to visit with my sweet friend here. Obviously, there's some people that I see a lot when I'm up here, and I'm so grateful that y'all never get tired of me, because I'd be tired of me by now. But has anybody seen me for the very first time? You've never seen me before today? Oh, most of you. All right. Anybody seen me for the last time? Go ahead and raise your hand. No hands over here, but... Well, I grew up in the little town of Waverly, Tennessee, about an hour west of Nashville, and grew up, singing in church, dreaming about a music career. And God has led me for over 30 years now to travel and tour and sing and record and just share some of the songs I've written and the stories behind them. And so that's what I'm going to do today. So more than anything else, just want to give God the glory for allowing us to be here and preparing us for whatever He's got in store for us today. He was peeling an apple, sitting in the shade, eating those green slices right off the blade. Grandpa was a gentle and a quiet man, but there was so much wisdom neath that farmer's tan. I said, I want to be just like you when I'm grown. He handed me an apple, said, this is all I know. Choose the road less traveled every time you can. Try to find the good things in your fellow man. Never hesitate to stand up for the weak. And the bigger man's the one who turns the other cheek. If you can say I'm sorry, learn how to forgive, then you've had a life well lived. Wealth is not determined by what you possess. You know a dollar bill won't buy you happiness. Take time to show others just how much you care, 'cause love is something you have plenty of to share. No one else can tell you what your life is worth. Just thank God for the blessings of each day upon the earth. And choose the road less traveled every time you can. Try to find the good things in your fellow man. Never hesitate to stand up for the weak. And the bigger man's the one who turns the other cheek. If you can say I'm sorry, learn how to forgive, then you've had a life well lived. Oh, if you can make each moment count and give more than you get, you can turn the page with no regrets. So choose the road less traveled every time you can. Try to find the good things in your fellow man. Never hesitate to stand up for the weak. And the bigger man's the one who turns the other cheek. If you can say I'm sorry, learn how to forgive, then you've had a life well lived. Then you've had a life well lived. I've been blessed for a lot of years to be able to travel and sing, and I've sung in just about every possible situation. I mean, large festivals and big auditoriums and tens of thousands of people and cow pastures on the backs of trailers, and churches big and small, but I am most at home in a small church. I was over in Owensboro this morning at a church, and the pastor, he texted me yesterday and he said, I just need to prepare you. Our air conditioning is out. I thought, well, that's how I grew up. I mean, I grew up in the little church I grew up in. We didn't have air conditioning. I mean, we'd open the windows. We had them little handheld fans that the funeral home used to give out. Do you remember those? Had like a picture of Jesus on one side, had a funeral home advertisement on the back. Ours said, "Love Bowen Funeral Home. We're the last ones to put you down." I always thought that was the best line. But it was great to be there. I love the fact that it doesn't matter where we are, that so is He. You know, that we're not in a position where we have to go great distances and find a certain temple, and we have to have somebody in the Holy of Holies separating us, and it's none of that. That we have access to Him at all times. And my friend Lee Black and I wrote this song. I'll share with you today. The morning sun is peeking through the hickory trees, and coffee steaming from my favorite cup, and this little bit of life that's raining on my heart, I'm gonna take some time to lift it up. In this wicker rocker Granny handed down to me, it's a perfect place to take my every care, for a quiet conversation, just my Lord and me. And I'm thankful heaven hears my front porch prayer. Well, this farmhouse wouldn't pass as a cathedral. There's no fixtures to impress or to admire, but the falling autumn leaves become my stained glass, and the singing of the birds will be my choir. In this wicker rocker Granny handed down to me, it's a perfect place to take my every care, for a quiet conversation, just my Lord and me. And I'm thankful heaven hears my front porch prayer. I'm glad that I don't need a fancy place to go and pray. I don't always have to fall down on my knees, but sitting in the silence of this morning that He made, His Spirit comes as gentle as a breeze. In this wicker rocker Granny handed down to me, it's the perfect place to take my every care, for a quiet conversation, and just my Lord and me. And I'm thankful heaven hears my front porch prayer. Thankful heaven hears my front porch prayer. The little church I grew up in, we'd run about 30 or 35 on a good Sunday. And I just assumed that's how church was. I'd never been in a big church till I was much older. All I knew was a little bitty church. I was 13 when they asked me to be the song leader. And wouldn't you love a song leader whose voice is changing? Oh, they had to hold on sometimes. They went right with me though. But it was such a great little church. I have so many memories in that church. I'll never forget one Sunday we had a guest preacher. And he was really preaching. I mean, he was shucking down the corn, and he decided to go for this dramatic moment, and he reared back and slammed down on the pulpit, and when he did, his false teeth come out. God is my witness. He caught them about right here and just threw them back in his mouth and kept preaching, never stopped. I don't know how much longer he preached. For most of us, service was over right then. But I'll never forget that. But because we were small, you know, we didn't have a lot of young people, and not a lot of anybody, but certainly not young people. We had a sister church Blue Creek was its name. And so for vacation Bible school and youth events, we would go, a lot of times go to Blue Creek and partner with their young people. And so I have many memories too going to Blue Creek Church and for different things. And my little home church is Glenwood is its name, and it's still there. I imagine my mom was there this morning. Glenwood has managed to keep going, but Blue Creek not so well. I drove by it a few years ago, and it was boarded up. They had closed it down at some point. Now they've completely torn it down, and it just breaks my heart because I see that more and more these days in my travels. Little churches that are, used to be the backbone of a community. And that are now sitting empty or being used in some other capacity. And friends, we got a country full of churches that are about 5 years away from outside of divine intervention. We're going to have a whole lot more of them. And it just breaks my heart, and I figure it probably makes the Lord sad too. And because of that, I wrote this song. The windows are boarded, there's locks on the doors. The paint is now peeling, chipping away. Down off the highway, it's just an eyesore. People drive by and just look away. But I still remember a time in the past with cars in the driveway and freshly mowed grass. The church bell would ring so that the neighbors could hear. Oh, I still remember a time when God lived here. On Sundays my family and I would arrive. We'd sit on the fourth row on the piano side, sing about blood, and we'd hear about grace and the joy of the Lord. Put a smile on my face. We'd leave at the altar our burdens and cares, and one of the brethren dismissed us in prayer. The pictures are vivid and coming so clear, 'cause I still remember a time when God lived here. Creekside baptism, homecoming day, helping a stranger that passed by our way. Vacation Bible school and pink lemonade. I wonder where everyone worships these days. 'Cause now it sits empty, vacant and sad. It marks like a tombstone what we once had, a sweet southern temple where God could reside, until we so carelessly pushed it aside. But oh, how I wish I could turn back the clock to when its foundation was still on the rock. As I drive away, I brush back the tears, 'cause I still remember a time. Oh, I still remember a time when God lived here. I'm old enough now that I'm one of those guys that will drive past a new building or a new business, and I have to say, because it's required, guys, at a certain age, you have to be the one that says, I remember when that was just a cow pasture. It's that little bit of information that nobody asked for, but we have to interject that it's required. And there's still some that, my community hadn't changed a lot, but we've lost a few things, and a few things have changed over the years. And we used to have a little grocery store that I loved to go to when I was a kid. They don't exist much anymore. I mean, they've kind of been replaced by convenience stores and Dollar Generals because we need more of those. But these little stores, they had a personality all their own. Ours was called Hicks's Grocery. Mr. Orville Hicks and his family owned it. It was a little white block building. You know, it was had one American gas pump in the front of the store, had a screen door on the porch. And you could walk in that screen door, and if you turned to the left, the first thing you'd see was a big drink box with the Coca-Colas and the great knee-highs and all that, and the little glass bottles. And he sold a little bit of hardware, a little bit of houseware, and groceries, of course. Had a pot-bellied stove in the back where the men would sit. But as a kid, what I knew, and what every kid in town knew, is that if you hit that screen door and turned to the left, Mr. Hicks had the best candy counter of any store in town. And I mean, if Granddaddy gave you candy money, you didn't just grab the first thing you saw. You had a decision to make, you know. I mean, we'd start at the top, you know, with, you know, just the lifesavers and things like that, and just rule them out. I don't want that, all the way down, you know. And it was a lot of them they don't even make now. You know, it was candy bars and baseball cards and the little wax bottles with the juice inside. You remember them? And pixie sticks and jawbreakers and peanut butter logs and sugar daddies. And you know, if he was really in a celebratory mood, he always had candy cigarettes and bubblegum cigars. And for those real stressful days when you're 8. But one day I'll never forget, I was with my dad. We were on the way home, and I had a piece of candy. He knew I didn't have any money. And he said, "Did Mr. Hicks give you that?" Instantly, I forgot how to speak English. All I could say was, because I knew I couldn't lie, and I knew I couldn't tell him the truth. And he figured that out real quick and turned his truck around and drove me back to Mr. Hicks' store and made me go in there by myself and confess. And I was just mortified. I did not want to do that, but I did it. And all these years later, I remember every detail of that whole experience. I mean, it made an impression on me that I never forgot. Then I got home and something else made an impression on me. And I didn't forget that neither. Some of y'all know about that, I can tell. I got my people here today. But I was doing some songwriting, and a version of that story found its way into a song. Now, if you follow Southern gospel music, you may know this one. This was a #1 song in Southern gospel a few years ago. But that's my little confession behind it. It goes like this. Two little boys were staring at the candy on display. One whispered to the other, with the clerk looking away, "Just put it in your pocket, no one will ever know. We'll eat it all before we get back home." But that little boy just stared down at the candy on the shelf. You could almost hear the conversation he had with himself. Then he gave the clerk $1, took the candy and his change, gave half to his buddy and explained, "No matter who's watching, no matter who sees, Jesus in my heart knows how wrong that would be. And when I'm home and Mama asks me, have you been good? Though she would never know, I would." Well, little boys, they grow up, temptations grow up too, and we're living in a world that says do what you want to do. What they don't know won't hurt them is the devil's battle cry. But a godly man knows that is just a lie. No matter who's watching, no matter who sees, Jesus When the Holy Spirit asks me, have you been good? Though the world may never know, oh, but I will. The man that I am, when no one is watching, is the man I really am. No matter who's watching, no matter who sees, Jesus in my heart knows how wrong that would be. And when the Holy Spirit asks me, have you been good? Though the world may never know, no, the world may not ever know, but I will. Oh, me and Jesus. Like everybody else, I marvel at how fast time gets away now, and I'm always, I guess, because when you're traveling like I do, you're always looking ahead. It's like, where am I going next? Where's the next stop? Where's the next hotel? The next weekend? And so you're always living a little bit ahead, and it seems like the present gets by you before you get a chance to enjoy it. And I marvel now. I can't get over how many years have gone by. I'll run into people I went to high school with, and I recognize them because they look like their parents did when we were in school, and that's how I know who they are. You know, hello, Mike. You know, I see that a lot. But in fact, the story that I know I've told the most, but I still crack up when I think about this. I was playing the Grand Ole Opry one night, and I'm standing in the wings waiting to go on. I'm just standing there holding my guitar, waiting to go on. And there's this young group that's on stage, and I wish I could remember their name, but they were 2 girls and a guy in the group, in this trio, singing the big hit record they had, and they just sound great. And I'm just standing here watching because I'm up next. And when they finish the song, there's all this applause, and they're bringing them off stage. Pete Fisher was the manager of the Opry at the time, and he's escorting one of the young ladies off stage. And she stops, and she leans down to Pete, and she points right in my direction, and she says, I would like to meet him. Well, I heard her, so I did what anybody would have done. I started looking around trying to figure out who she's pointing at, because I knew it wasn't me. You know, I figured, Vince Gill or somebody had walked up beside me, but I'm standing there by myself, so Pete brings her over, so I introduced myself. She says, oh, I know exactly who you are. Well, now, as a songwriter, it's not like you get recognized all the time. And I said, do you really? She says, oh, yeah. And her eyes got big, and she said, when I was like 3 years old, my grandmother took me to one of your concerts. Yeah. So we got our picture made, and I laughed. I said, I guarantee you she's back in the dressing room right now calling her mom saying, you remember that old guy Grandma used to like? I met him tonight. But there's some perks to it I have learned. I'm at the age now where there are some perks. I'm old enough now. I'm still the youngest member of the group, but I get invited now to go down to the cafe in the morning and sit at the liar's table. They don't let just anybody sit there. This is a special group of guys. They tickle me. They're all retired. They don't have to do anything. But they get up every day earlier than they have to and drive to town and pay for coffee so they can sit at a table and insult one another. It is the funniest group I've ever been around. But I love to get them going. Because they're about a generation older than me, their stories of growing up are different from mine, some of them, and I love to hear their stories. And this song here is kind of a composite of some of the stories that they've shared. And this song is more specifically geared to the men that are here, but I have no doubt that the ladies will recognize some common ground in it as well. When we were boys, the world was our backyard. It was comic books, pen knives, and baseball cards. Hide and seek and tug of war, race you to the candy store. We didn't know what girls were for back when we were boys. When we were boys, we'd sleep out beneath the stars, trade bottles and 4-nickel candy bars, floating on an inner tube, skipping rocks, bending rules. Oh, the things we got into back when we were boys. And we didn't realize we had it made, with a cane pole and the best friend in the shade. Supper on the stove, no bills to pay. I wish I could go back just one more day. When we were boys, we'd slam that old screen door. Each day brought new adventures to explore. Stay out till the sun was gone, till street lights started coming on. Mom would holler, y'all come home, back when we were boys. And we didn't realize we had it made, with a cane pole and the best friend in the shade. Supper on the stove, no bills to pay. I wish I could go back just one more day. When we were boys, we dreamed of being grown, but we would have changed that thought if we had known. Mom and Dad still young and strong, everyone was safe at home. In just a blink, it all was gone, back when we were boys. Thanks so much. You know, one of the things I'm learning, the older I get, the more emotional I get. And I don't know, maybe that's just part of it. You know, I used to, I didn't notice it bad. Now, you know, I tell people I cry at the drop of a hat, then I'll drop my own hat. You know, it's just, things just mean more to me now. And I'm going to tell you something that a lot of gospel singers wouldn't tell you. When you do 150 concerts a year, like a lot of us do, and you're singing the same songs over and over and over, if you're not careful, you can get to where you can just kind of phone it in. You don't mean to, but it just becomes second nature. And you know, you might be right in the middle of the verse that somebody needs to hear, and you're somewhere thinking about where we're going to eat lunch. You know, nobody does it on purpose. It just happens. And I fight really hard against that. You know, because even though God allowed me to write the songs, I want Him to minister to me through the songs in the same way He does everybody else. And so sometimes, you know, I have to take a second, you know, because it's hit me kind of hard. I grew up in a world where I knew about Jesus until I was old enough to know Him as my Savior. So there's never been a time in my life I was not aware of His love for me and His desire for me, and that formed a good foundation for my life. You know, I gave my life to Christ when I was pretty young, but through the years I have found some unique ways sometimes to disappoint Him, to be less than what He'd have me to be, and you know, things that I should have done that I didn't do, and things I should not have done I still chose to do. But I'm glad today that we serve a forgiving God, you know, a patient God, a God who will put up with far more out of us than we would ever put up with out of anybody. And I'm glad that he's not just some far-off deity sitting high on a throne somewhere saying, y'all get to me if you can. No, I love that he makes house calls. You know, he made that most important house call when he sent his son to be our Redeemer. But that's not the only one. You know, there's times in life and when it just seems like that everything's falling apart at once. You know, it's like when it rains, it pours, and I don't know what to pray over first. And I've come to realize that it's in those moments that he draws near to you. And I love that about his nature. Some days I feel I'm on top of the wall, and I can't be beaten, and I'll never fall. But then I get tossed by life's troubling winds, and I'm at the bottom, broken again, hungered for shelter, dying of thirst. Worried my burdens can only get worse. I'm barely crawling with no way to climb, and I feel his touch every time. 'Cause when I'm alone and too weak to stand, I feel the touch of his tender hand, giving me strength, filling my cup. He reaches down when I can't reach up. Now when you find yourself at your rope's end, about to give up and about to give in, you can be sure he is fully aware and making a way in his love and care. There is no canyon, no crater too deep. There is no distance that's outside his reach. And even when you don't know what you should pray, you're never too far away. 'Cause when I'm alone and too weak to stand, I feel the touch of his tender hand, giving me strength, filling my cup. He reaches down when I can't reach up. Oh, giving me strength, filling my cup. He reaches down when I can't reach up. I get asked sometimes of all the songs that I've written and had recorded, which one is my favorite. And it's kind of hard to say because, you know, you're personally invested in them. You know, it's a little bit like somebody asking you which one's your favorite kid. You know, you have one, but it just changes from time to time. You don't tell anybody. But this one would certainly be on the short list for me. When I was about 15, my mom and dad sold the little farm that we lived in, and sold the house rather in town that we lived in, and bought this little farm. And I didn't care. I was 15, and I was working after school and on the weekends, and I was home as little as possible. And then I turned 16, and I'm driving and dating, and I was home even less. And then I finished my schooling, and I headed to Nashville to get involved in music, and so I never really got emotionally attached to the farm. Not like I was attached to that little house we lived in town. You know, it's weird to me. Mom said we only lived there 13 years, but I mean, we moved there when I was too little to remember it and stayed there till I was 15. So all my memories of Christmas and birthdays and summers and growing up, it all happened in this little house on the hill there in Waverly, Tennessee. And I used to drive by it. In fact, I still do every now and then just to kind of check on it. But I'll never forget one afternoon, I'm out that way and sitting still almost in the road. There's nobody behind me, nobody anywhere, I don't think. And I'm looking at that house and all these memories are flooding in. And it took me a minute to realize that there was an old boy in the doorway of that house staring back down at me. And he looked a little suspicious. Or maybe I looked a little suspicious. Maybe that was the problem. And I thought, well, he doesn't know me. And that's the first time it ever dawned on me that, wait a minute, he's at home. I'm the stranger. And that seemed impossible to me because in my heart it was always the other way around. And I thought, that's one of those experiences that we all can connect to. Most of us have a house, a home, a place in your past, in your heart that you hold precious even if you no longer have access to it. Maybe it's where you grew up or where your best friend lived or your grandparents or, and you can close your eyes and you can walk through it room by room. You can still see it so clearly, even if maybe it's no longer even there. And so that's kind of where the idea for this song came from. And that's what I love about it, is that every time I sing it, what I see in my mind is that little white house on the hill there in Waverly. But I know when you hear this song, it's going to take you somewhere altogether different. And wherever it takes you, I hope it's a good place. And I hope it's some place that you hadn't been to in a while. A little wood frame house on a quiet street, the centerpiece of all my childhood memories. I drive that way every now and then to remember where I came from and who I've been. I turn down that old familiar blacktop. I slow down, but I don't stop. The little house where I was raised surely seen its better days, and somehow looks much smaller than before. But Daddy's gone and Mama too is lived in by somebody new. Strangers locked behind our old screen door. Well, I still go back, but I can't go home anymore. I wish I'd known way back then just how fast time gets here, then it's gone again. One day I'm there with my folks inside, the next I'm just a stranger slowly driving by. You might just see shingles, windows, walls and doors, oh, but to me it's so much more. The little house where I was raised surely seen its better days, but somehow looks much smaller than before. But Daddy's gone and Mama too, it's lived in by somebody new. Strangers locked behind our old screen door. Well, I still go back, but I can't go home anymore. The backyard where we tossed the ball till Mama said supper's ready, y'all. Then we joined hands, Daddy thanked the Lord. The bedroom where I dared to dream of places I had never seen, a great big world that called me to explore. Then brought me back full circle to this door. Well, I still go back, but I can't go home anymore. Yes, I still go back, but I can't go home anymore. This song here changed my life in ways that I never expected. And I've learned so much and continue to learn through it. what I learned as much as anything else is about just the anointing power of God. You know, when you're a songwriter, you sit down and you write a song. Songwriting is part gift and part craft. And it's like a lot of things, especially in the ministry. God will give you the gift and then step back a little bit and say, what are you going to do with it? How much are you willing to invest? You know, how much work are you willing to put in? And that's certainly songwriting is that way. And sometimes you have to work really hard to get a song, you know, together. And you can write a good song that way, but I mean, you just have to, you know, squeeze all the juice out of the craft that you can. Other times, songs just kind of come all at once. And I've never understood why songs work that way and why they don't all work that way, you know, but they don't. And this was one of those that just kind of came all at once. And when I finished it, I thought it was an all right song. I put it on a demo tape with 2 other songs, but I did not think that this one was the best one of the 3. Shows what I know. Because in the years since this song has been out, this song has literally been around the world. It won every award it could possibly win. It's been streamed millions of times. It made the list as one of the top gospel songs of all time. I mean, I've heard country versions, I've heard bluegrass versions of it, black gospel versions of this song. I've heard this song sung by a praise and worship choir from Jamaica. It was awesome. I heard it sung by a youth choir from South Africa. And almost never does a week go by that somebody will come up to me with some story of how the song ended up in their life. I mean, it's, you know, we sang it at church. I sang that at the nursing home. We played that at so-and-so's funeral because it was his favorite song. This morning in the church I was in Owensboro, pastor told me that his brother-in-law got saved because of this song. He said he is rejoicing with the Lord today because of the impact this song had. I don't know where to put all that. But what I've learned through it is that there's just an anointing that God chooses at His will to put on songs sometimes. You can't say, well, I'm going to sit down and write a song that will just transcend generations. No, nobody has that ability. But the writer of songs like How Great Thou Art and Just As I Am and Amazing Grace, all those songs work. They always work. It doesn't matter who sings them. Doesn't matter what instruments you use. They will always work. The Spirit moves every time you play those. And it's just because of that special anointing that God placed on those songs. Well, for whatever reason, He chose to sprinkle just a little bit on this song. And after now, it's been 20 years now since this song has been out. And every single weekend, I still run into people whose lives were impacted by this little song that came to me one night in the middle of the night, driving home from North Carolina. So I will be forever grateful that God allowed me to be the pipeline that brought this thing into the world. So I'll share with you this afternoon. I was working in town one afternoon, attending some business affairs. I heard a commotion a couple streets over. I wondered what's happening there. A young man was running from in that direction. He stopped just to catch his breath. Oh, I asked him to please tell me what was the hurry. Oh, he smiled up at me and he said, I was trying to catch the crippled man. Did he run past this way? He was rushing home to tell everyone what Jesus did today. And the mute man was telling myself and the deaf girl, he's leaving to answer God's call. Oh, it's hard to believe, but if you don't trust me, ask the blind man. He saw it all. Ask the blind man, he saw it all. Now here's the message right here. Well, my friend, if the troubles and burdens you carry are heavy and dragging you down. You've tried everything you can possibly think of, and there's no relief to be found. Friend, that very same Jesus that altered the future of a blind man, the deaf and the lame, oh, He's still reaching out in your hour of trouble. One touch and you're never the same, and you'll be trying to catch the crippled man. Did he run past this way? He was rushing home to tell everyone what Jesus did today. And the mute man was telling myself and the deaf girl, he's leaving to answer God's call. Oh, it's hard to believe, but if you don't trust me, ask the blind man, he saw it all. Ask the blind man, he saw it all. Oh, he saw it all. I don't always, in fact, very seldom do I write songs that are completely autobiographical. But I've always felt I need to relate to the song in a way that way I knew it's authentic. That's why I write so much about small towns and you know, salt of the earth folks, because that's who I know, and I want to write songs that resonate truth. But this song came to me not long ago, and when I got finished with it, I wasn't sure what to do with it, because I didn't know if it was any good or not, because it couldn't relate to it. And but we had a little thing at home, and they asked me to sing. They'll sometimes do that, and I sang this. And when I got done, one of the retired doctor in our community came up to me, and he said, "Daryl, I want you to go with me next Wednesday night and sing that song at the rehab center." I said, "I don't know, Dr. King. I mean, I'm glad those guys are getting their lives in order, but I wouldn't want to sing anything that sounds like I'm being condescending or judgmental." And he said, No, I don't think they'll take it that way. So I said, okay. So the next Wednesday, I went with Dr. King, and he walked me in a room about this size, a crowd probably about this size, but it was all some of the roughest looking old boys I'd ever seen in my life. I mean, you know, you could just see where life had rode them hard, put them up with. And I said, all right. And I sat down and I sang this song. And when I got done that evening, just about every one of them came up to me and asked me to autograph their Bible. I tell you what, it ain't easy to sign somebody's Bible. That was a humbling experience. But what it's reminded me of is that, you know, Jesus was given a hard time because sometimes he hung out with people that were less than acceptable. But he didn't see who they are. He didn't really even see who they were. He saw who they could be. And the scripture's always full of, I mean, some terrible people whose life could change completely because of their encounter with him. And so to me, what the song has reminded me is that nobody is beyond reach. And as I've been traveling and singing this song, everywhere I go, somebody will say, man, that's my story. That's my dad. That's my brother. And so it's my hope that this song will travel in such a way that ministers to some folks that feel like maybe they've got too much past for their future to be any good. And that's just not true. So I'll share with you today. the celebration. He was 3 months sober, thanks to rehabilitation. He looked a little thinner, but the eyes were crystal clear. The day that he had dreamed about for 90 days was here. Surrounded by well-wishers to celebrate the day, he thanked them for their prayers in the time he'd been away. But when he reached into his pocket for the shot glass he had hid, you could have heard a pin drop. Then he raised it and he said, I raise this empty glass in memory of the past, and just how far I've come today to get to where I'm at. I know the road ain't easy, but God says he'll be with me. I've been through hell and I ain't going back. Oh, here's to better days, and I won't drink to that. I'll be working on the fences that need mended. The hearts that I've neglected are gonna take some tending, and I will try to earn back the respect and trust I lost, and burn all of the bridges to the old ways that I crossed. I'm bound to face temptation, oh, I can guarantee. Some days I kick the habit, some days it kicks me. Oh, but I will not surrender to that bottle full of pain. With heaven's help and yours, I can every day proclaim. I raise this empty glass in memory of the past, and just how far I've come today to get to where I'm at. I know the road ain't easy, but God says he'll be with me. I've been through hell and I ain't going back. Oh, here's to better days, and I won't drink to that. Here's to better days, I won't drink to that.
See, I wasn't teasing, right? Well, normally when our unity group meets, we do an offering for our, tell me the right name.
Good Samaritan Fund that helps people.
Thank you. Good Samaritan Fund that helps people. Today's a little different. Today is a collection for Daryl's ministry, so this will go to him. And one of the things I always say I love the most about this is, you know, what we do today will bring his music and his love of Jesus to the next church, and then they'll take it and pass it on to the next church. So this is for him. He'll play a little something while we collect it, I think, right?
I can.
All right.
thank you for coming and being here today, allowing me to be here. It's been a joy. And I do covet your prayers. I'm on the road a lot. I average driving about 5,000 miles a month. And I've said many times, I'm a good driver. Some of those folks are not. So I appreciate your prayers. I have a website. It's just my name, DarylMosley.com. My schedule is on there if you want to keep up with where I am. If you do the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, I have those. And lots of times posted pictures of my travels and that sort of thing. When I get done, I've got a few things over here that you'd expect. T-shirts and CDs, if you can still play them. If not, I've got coasters. I've got a devotional book. It took me almost a year to write it. It's a 365-day daily devotional, and each of the devotions are in some way tied to one of the songs I've written over the years. So if you've enjoyed the stories, you're welcome to take a look at that. But I want to share one more song with you before I turn you loose. You know, God for a lot of years has let me share my story and His story through me, but I'm always reminded of the power of your story. It always seemed to me like the Lord could have saved Himself a whole lot of trouble if He'd have made us all a little bit more alike. I don't know what He was thinking, because He went plumb to the other side of that. I mean, we're none of us alike. But but because of that, because you are the only you He's ever going to make, and He put inside you gifts and talents and skills and interests and a personality that's unique to you. And because of that, there's people that are drawn to you, that'll come into your circle, that will cross your path, that will live near you, work with you, be in your family, that may never cross my path or other folks. And so I just want to encourage you today that whatever it is that makes you who you are, share Jesus with it. I mean, you're not going to ever have another tool that's better to share Christ with others than your own personal story of what He's done in your life. So I'll share this one with you and I'll turn you loose. But thank you for having me today. God bless you. She works in your office, you see her every day. You small talk the weather and the news, but you never know it from the smile on her face. She's heartbroken, lonely, and confused. She needs to know that there's a Savior who cares, and it's no coincidence that you are standing there. Through you, His hand is reaching out to those in need. Through you, His fingerprints are on each word and deed. No need to wonder what He's calling you to do, 'cause the road for them that leads to Him, it runs through you. They are the parents of your daughter's best friend. They're a real nice couple, people say, but they spend their weekends always at the lake, 'cause Sunday, it's just another day. But lately they're feeling something's missing in their life. You're just the very one to tell them they are right. Through you, His hand is reaching out to those in need. Through you, His fingerprints are on each word and deed. No need to wonder what He's calling you to do, 'cause the road for them that leads to Him, it runs through you. Just look around you and you will see someone wandering alone. Jesus is calling for you to be the path that leads them home. Through you, His hand is reaching out to those in need. Through you, His fingerprints are on each word and deed. No need to wonder what He's calling you to do, 'cause the road for them that leads to Him, it it runs through you, through you, through you. God bless you, friends. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daryl.
Amen.
What a joy.
Yes.
And pastors, if you want him to come to your church, he does come during worship. It's wonderful. He's been to Waitsville a few times, and you get the Sunday off. So. I mean, that's not why we have it.
Right.
No, I mean, but you know, I'm just putting that out there. If you're interested in that ever coming up, future, whatever, just contact me. I know how to reach him. Anyway, thank you all for coming. Come check out the merch. Come visit with Daryl, and have a great day.
Amen. Thank you.